What's going on, lads and lasses? Welcome back to the channel. So we head into the game tomorrow, 2 o'clock kickoff, of course, against Brentford at the GTEC Community Stadium. And it's sort of bad news for us Newcastle United fans, as of course it looks like Anthony Gordon will not be available by the looks of it for this game. He's unlikely to feature after that hip injury is a setback. We've seen him go off in the game, of course, against Athletic Bilbao at St James's, and it looks like he might not be able to feature in this game against Brentford by the looks of it. Eddie, of course, talking in his press conference saying that they're working with Tuchel of England, of course, for the call up, because Anthony Gordon got called up to the England squad, along with, of course, Dan Burn and, of course, Nicky Pope as well, getting called up into the England squad. So great to see, of course, 3 of the lads getting called up to the England squad. Of course, Mali Chow as well getting called up to the German squad alongside Nick Faltamara, of course. But looking at the news going into this game for Newcastle perspective of things, of course, Will Asula is sidelined with an ankle issue. He's been having that for a little while now, and he's been trying to play through it, but it looks like it's finally caught up with him. So he is going to miss out on a few weeks of play time. Of course, Johan Wissa and Tino Livramento look like they're coming back pretty soon. But at the moment, the return dates are unconfirmed by Eddie. I don't know when we're going to be seeing Johan Wissa or Tino Livramento back, but we have seen them doing training, so that's good news at least. And like I say, Anthony Gordon is unlikely to feature after that hip injury setback that he's been having of late. He's been having to deal with that for quite a few weeks, maybe months. So hopefully we'll see a speedy recovery for Anthony Gordon. And on the Brentford side of things going into this game, of course, Anthony Malibo, I believe it's called, sorry if I have pronounced that name wrong, and Josh Silva, they both remain out. Benjamin Arthur could return to the squad as well. So any Brentford fans watching, let us know what you think, of course, on that news down in the comments below. Get involved in the discussion heading into this game. But we travel to West London this Sunday for Premier League clash against Brentford at the GTEC Community Stadium. Kickoff is 2 p.m. and of course this match is live on TV on Sky Sports. Expect an intense encounter as both ourselves and Brentford battle for vital points in this season. And looking at it, this is going to be a tough one because, like I say, Brentford have been pretty solid at home. They've got a pretty good home record, wins over Aston Villa, Man United and Liverpool, the draw with Chelsea, and the only team so far to pick up all 3 points from the GTEC Community Stadium has been Manchester City. So that just shows how good Brentford are doing under Keith Andrews, of course, at the GTEC Community Stadium. And looking at our recent fixtures from the Newcastle side of things going into this one, we played twice this week. Of course, a Champions League win against Athletic Bilbao, which has put one in a really good position to make it to the knockout rounds of the Champions League. And of course, Premier League action last Sunday, where unfortunately it didn't quite work out the way we wanted it to. And of course, we ended up losing to, of course, West Ham at the London Stadium. Now, so far on the road, we haven't had the best of luck. I mean, we started the season on the road at Villa Park. It ended in a 0-0 draw. Could have easily been, a win for Newcastle in that game. Then we went to Elland Road, and we haven't done well in that one, coming away with a 0-0 draw again. Could have easily been a win if we had have just found that attacking prowess in, of course, the final third. And then we'll go to the away game after that in the league, and that takes one, the Bournemouth game, where again we just seem to not have that ability in the final third again. And that seems to be the recurring picture that we're seeing a lot this season, that we are having a lot of problems in that final third, finding that finishing touch away from home at the moment seems to be a bit of a problem. But not in the Champions League, as we did play after the Bournemouth game in the Champions League against Union Saint-Gilloise in Belgium, and we won 4-0 in that game. So if we could just get that attacking ability in the final third that we're seeing in the Champions League, you know, that would be brilliant if we could see it in the Premier League as well. But at the moment, it looks like we might have transitioned into what some people would call a cup team. And, you know, when you look at it, I'm okay with that as long as we, you know, can still keep ourselves in a good position in the Premier League as well, because the main focus is to go out there and win trophies. That's the whole purpose of a club, is that you go out there, you win trophies. And if we have transitioned to a position where we are now a cup team, you know, that's going to benefit us hugely, because we're seeing ourselves in the quarter-final of a League Cup after some really good results. We're seeing ourselves in a position where we could be seeing us go through to the knockout stages of the Champions League. And, you know, that's really good to see. If we could just get that sort of form in the Premier League as well, it would be a really, really good season. I think that's the only thing really that's letting us down at the moment, is, you know, seeing that performances in the Premier League. But looking at the other away games that we've played, other than, of course, the Villa one, the Leeds one, Bournemouth one, and the Union Saint-Gilloise one, in the Premier League, the other fixtures away from the Villa, Leeds and Bournemouth games, of course, have seen we lose to Brighton at the Amex. Of course, that was a 2-1 loss there. 2 goals by Danny Welbeck, of course, sealing the win for Brighton in that. And then, of course, the game at the London Stadium against West Ham, where, you know, we opened the scoring very early in the game, 4 minutes into the game, and, you know, Jacob Murphy scored the goal. It opened the scoring, and then he had a chance, you know, a little bit after that, where he could have made it 2, but it was, you know, you heard me thoughts on that one. The referee pulling it back instead of playing advantage when he should have, and it would have, you know, changed probably the outcome of that match. Instead, we ended up seeing, you know, we're coming away on the end of a 3-1 loss with an own goal in there as well from Sven Botman. Of course, the other 2 scorers for West Ham were Paqueta and Souček on the 97th minute. Hopefully, however, this game, of course, tomorrow will be a much better game. We're coming into this one on the back of a 2-0 win on Wednesday gone. Of course, bonfire night when we played Athletic Bilbao, of course, at St James's Park, or Amigos from Spain. Beating them, of course, 2-0 to see ourselves in a really good position in the Champions League. And now, hopefully, we can see that form and that ability and that, you know, intensity come into the game, of course, tomorrow in that 2 o'clock kickoff against Brentford down at the GTEC Community Stadium. And like I say, you know, they've been really, really good this season. Brentford at home, they've been doing some really good stuff. So what can we really expect from this game? Well, Brentford fans will look to defend their strong home form at the GTEC, whilst we aim to bounce back in the Premier League after a not so great away day at the London Stadium. And despite injury setbacks, I think we will have enough to be able to do exactly that. It's going to be fast-paced, physical Premier League contest, as always, and we are just going to have to go in there, keep the mentality high, and, you know, hopefully come away with all 3 points. We need to start getting the points on the road. We need to start getting the wins on the road in the Premier League, because after the Brentford game, and after, of course, the last of the international breaks, which is right after this Brentford game, then, of course, we will be taking on Manchester City at St James's Park. And, you know, that's going to be a very, very tough game. It's not going to be an easy game, looking at the way Erling Haaland has been playing at the moment for Manchester City. He's banging in goals right, left and centre. And, you know, we have got a little bit of a boost on that, however, and the fact that we are the only team that he's barely scored against. He's only ever gotten one goal against Newcastle in his time being in the Premier League, and it was just inches off the line, off his knee, into the back of the net. So he barely knew anything about it. But, I mean, if we don't go into that game with the right mindset, it can be a disastrous outcome for us. But we've got to get past this game against Brentford first at the GTEC Community Stadium. And then, of course, we've got another away game after that City one, which is, of course, the 5th Champions League game in a very tough environment as we go to the Stadio Orange Velodrome, I think it is, and Marseille will be playing, where it's very, very dangerous environment to go for away fans, and it will be a very tough and fiery atmosphere there as well for that one. But like I say, we've got to get past the Brentford game first. Let us know your thoughts on that game coming up, of course, tomorrow, 2 o'clock kickoff, live on Sky Sports if you're in the UK, or if you're overseas, then of course all of the other channels are up on the usual place, the nufc.com website, to go check it out there. And let us know what you think down in the comments below. Going into it, Brentford fans watching, let us know what you think as well. Hit that like, share, subscribe to the channel, and if you can as well, there's a new feature on YouTube. Please hit the hype button. It does massively help to support the channel, and it is completely free, as is the liking, subscribing and sharing the channel as well. And one of the main ones, get in the comments, down in the comments section below, get the discussion going, and let's get some thoughts from you guys and lasses out there heading into this game tomorrow down at the GTEC. How are the lads?